Hi all, my name is Mahesh Kumar Vaka. In this session, I'm going to talk about the keywords this, super, and the concept constructor chaining in Java. First of all, we'll focus on this and super and understand constructor chaining and its importance. This is one of the keywords in Java. It is just a reference variable which refers to the current class instance or the current object. This keyword can be used to access any member or method of the object. Let us say I want to access the variables or the instance variables in my class. In that case, I already have the variable names for them, right? Then why to use this? To understand that, let us say I have a method in my class and the method is having some parameters. Or say let us say I have got one constructor and it is having some parameters. So the parameters and the variables both are having the same name. Let us say in my class employee, I have created variables called name and age and salary. Similar to that, I have created a constructor with parameters with the same things like name, age, and salary. So to identify and access the variables as and how they are defined, we are using this keyword. I'll show that through an example here. I have created one class named the database system. So in that I have created some variables like type, what is the type of the database system, whether it's hosted on cloud or not, what is the schema name, username, password, client name, and memory. This is how I have created few variables. Similar to that, I am creating one constructor. So in constructor, I am using one default or the no parameter constructor, and the other one is the parameterized constructor. And you see that the variable names are the same, like string type, and here also we have string type. Similar to that, boolean hosted on cloud, and all the variables are in the same order and the same names with the same data types, right? So here I may be giving the details through this constructor, or I am trying to create a database system with these details of my own choice. But to assign the values which I provided to this constructor, I will have to rewrite the existing values in this class. So these values whichever I have provided, let's assume that details are the default values. So to override those things, whenever I create a database system of my own choice, I will have to use this this keyword. So here the type uh, can be overridden with the value whichever I provide in the constructor parameters. So to identify such things, the keyword this came into existence. So here if we focus on the line 18, here we have given this dot type equals to type, and the one on the left hand side here, this dot type, this refers to the current object, right? So this database system object is having an instance variable called type, and that is assigned with the value whichever we provide in the constructor's parameters. So if I provide in the constructor parameters, if I provide Oracle to this, so this SQL server will be overridden by Oracle. Similarly, if I override hosted on cloud true with hosted on cloud false, those values will be overridden. So that is how we make use of this keyword. So so this is referring to the current class instance variables, and also we also have another provision wherein we can use this to call the methods within the same class. Let us say I have got another method in this database system class. I can directly use this dot that method name whatever it is. So that is also one provision. Through this keyword allows us to access the instance variables and also the methods. So I have mentioned some of the usages of this keyword. So this is used to refer and access current class or instance variables. And also we can invoke the methods in the current class. And also we see this is one another peculiar thing to note here. Like this with braces, So there is a slight difference between directly using this uh, and this with braces. So here when I'm using this with empty braces here, it is going to call the constructor of this current class. So database system is the class, and the default constructor here is the database system with a print statement here. So the 17th line is going to call the default constructor within the same class. So that is how we are using this with braces. So this is going to call uh, the default constructor. So that's how we can understand it. And if we are just to make things better, if we are using dot followed by this, in that case we might be either accessing the variables within the class, or we might be trying to access the functionality through another method, like this dot method 1, method 2, something like that. So if we are seeing dot beside the this keyword, then we are trying to access variables or trying to access methods. So if we are using braces after this keyword, we are trying to make use of the constructor. So this is one of the usages of constructor chaining as well. So I have told that constructor chaining, right? Chaining is nothing but we are creating multiple constructors. Let us say I have created one default constructor and another with parameters. So here we are using the default constructor within the parameterized constructor. So this is one way we have achieved the constructor chaining, meaning the existing or the default constructor is chained or used within the parameterized constructor. So this is one way, one simple way of doing constructor chaining. We have other ways as well, but before that we will complete understanding this and super in a detailed way. So here you also see that if we want to make use of this, we can use it as a in the return statement also. So to return the current class instance through a method, even in that case, we can use this keyword. I have written that. Here I have created one method called get database system, and in that I have just used one statement called return this, meaning this method will be providing an object of database system for us if we call this get database system. All right. And this also can be used as a parameter for the constructor and the method calls. As of now, I have not represented that here, but if we are creating any methods or constructors, and in that case we have to use the current class instance or the object, even in that case we can use it as a parameter. That's all. Like we can directly write this in the parameters. So those are some of the usages of this. We'll go to the keyword super. Just like this, super is also one of the reference variables. Also, this is a keyword. It represents the immediate parent class object. So let us say I have created one child class from this database system. So I named it as Oracle database, right? So we have used the extends keyword and used the parent class, right? So in this one, I have created a constructor with the parameters from the same parent class. And in this, I have used the keyword super, and it is having some parameters within it. So this is also another way to achieve the constructor chaining, meaning this is also pointing to some constructor. Which constructor it is? It is the superclass constructor, superclass parameterized constructor. So if I go and click on here, it will route to the parameterized constructor of the parent class. So that is how we use super. Even even there is another case, if we want to access the variables from the parent class or methods from the parent class, even in that case we can directly use super dot, and we can use the variable names or the method names whichever is of our need. So here I have just used super dot memory. Memory I have just given it as 10 GB, so that we are able to access the variables from the parent class, right? So for accessing that, I have given the keyword protected because I don't want to give it private. Uh, so that's why I have given protected. Okay, and that is how we use super. Like these are major ways wherein we can call wherever we are using super with braces. It is either going to call the parameterized constructor or the default constructor based on however it is defined. Also, we can access the superclass variables or the superclass methods just by using super dot. Okay, so that is how the super can be used, and this is also one another way to get the constructor chaining work. So here I have provided the usages of super. One is to access immediate parent class instance variable here, that is memory. So super dot memory. So through that we are able to access it, access the memory variable. And in the same way, we can use super to invoke immediate parent class method. So in this database system, if we have any methods, we can directly call it super dot and give that method name. And also we can use super with braces to invoke immediate parent class constructor, just the same way which I have showed you earlier. Okay, and if we go back to constructor chaining, so here it is just the process of calling one constructor from another constructor. Like we can use this and also super with braces to get this constructor chaining work. So here in our original class database system, I have used this with empty braces. So this is calling the default constructor. In this case, I am using super with multiple parameters. So this will route to the super class parameterized constructor. Okay, so we will run our sample program. So from here, we can see that how we created the objects here. And here I have used certain print statements, and maybe you can try to take a look at these things and understand how things are working. So here I'm creating the DB system, that is the object, and within that DB system I have got one method called get database system. If I click on it, you see that the statement is written this, meaning I want to get the object of database system. So how that will work, we will see once we execute. Similar to that, I have used another statement called Oracle DB system. In that, I am creating the Oracle DB system with the required parameters. Okay. So if I click on this one, so it's having some parameters, and within that we have used the super keyword. Once this statement is getting executed, it will go and look at the super class. It will go to the super class first, and in that what is it, this with empty braces is there. So if we click on this, it is going to the print statement. So that is how this chaining is working. So you can try multiple examples and multiple use cases and understand things better. Okay. Also, the one another thing to note is that whenever we are using these constructors, we have to make sure that that will be the first statement within that method or the constructor or whatever. Okay, so if I try to use this constructor in the bottom or in the end, see there is a red mark and it says that it should be the first statement in the constructor. So I will have to push it back to the first statement. Now it will work. Okay, so we will just execute our program, and here we see that creating a database system for the client, and the database system related toString implementation happened, and the other statement has also gone to the same default constructor, and we have got certain print statements based on whatever we have provided. So that is all for this session. If you have any doubts or if you have any comments, please do it, and also practice on these things, because these are the basis for further sessions. Only having clarity on these things will make sure that the further topics will be understood easily. Thank you. Have a good day.